Hello, and welcome back to Oolykee Gaming, and welcome back to another episode of Workers and Resources Soviet Republic Mod Monday, and today it's all about residential and trade. Actually, there's two trains. No, there's one. One is invisible. Right, so disclaimer, of course, there's a lot of wonderful mods. Do not listen to me. Go and check other mods if you wish. This is only several of them I could fit in this video. It's actually 8 of them. So I'm gonna be comparing them to each other and to the vanilla ones and construction prices and all that good stuff. So check it out and let's get started. So let's start. Residential tower block type 121-60-25. First building. From a modder with an interesting name, Asbestos Sniffer. I like your enthusiasm. Here's a series, yada yada yada, you can read what it is. Why is it interesting? What's wrong with the building? Well, there's a lot of wrong with the building. I think it definitely requires a little bit more work. And probably, I don't even want to say, but idea behind this mod, there are 4 other mods like this from Asbestos Sniffer. He has an idea of recreating Pripyat, and I 100% support this. I would love to do this. I would love to be able to create Pripyat. It's a simple city, it's a small city. It does have like 60,000 people, 50,000 people used to live there, but it's simple to construct because it only had, I wouldn't want to say several, but lower amount of buildings than a usual city would have, because it was built from ground up. Anyway, the idea is magnificent. I love it. We're gonna compare it how it looks like with normal vanilla one. First, they look pretty much similar, not the same, because in size. This is the building that you can find in vanilla section here. That would be prefab flats number 2, and those are over here. That would be in the prefab flats. This one, 97 people, 97 people can live in there. So if we compare them, how much they cost construction-wise, you can see that the 121-60-25, I love these Soviet names, is actually a little bit more expensive in any aspect than this building. Everything is more expensive, especially the most important thing is the concrete. It's more concrete, and of course it takes more than double time to finish it. It does require a little bit of boards, but what we're missing here is asphalt. There you go. It does require 62 tons of boards, but 0 asphalt. Interesting. Take that as you wish. If you want to pay for the building, again, it costs almost double what vanilla does. Let's move on. Plattenbau WHH-GT-18 by Mr. B, Mr. Bremer, Mr. Chris created this one, and this is an interesting one. I still think there's, first of all, negative side. It has almost 300 people living there. I'm not really sure size-wise is that would be realistic. Technically, yes, you can have that kind of small apartments in this kind of building, but this is building built in the 70s and 80s. I would love it if it had a little bit less people, let's say tops 200 instead of 272. That would be quite nice. Usually what I would say it's 8 apartments per floor, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. My bad. 17 times 8, that would be 80. 7 times 8 is 72. That would be 152 apartments. If you have 2 people per apartment, that would be 300 and something. My bad, my totally bad. I apologize. I did miscalculate this because I thought it was a 12-story high building. It definitely is realistic and even has not enough people living in there. Another thing from Mr. Chris, why I love his work, Mr. Bremer, sorry. You can see the link to this building in the description, is that this building actually doesn't have any collisions, and I love that recently because I like to place the building on the flat ground myself. I don't want to be constrained by unrealistically large foundation or requirement where you can place the building. You can actually place it wherever you want, and I'm gonna choose if it's gonna be realistic or not. Anyway, Mr. Chris, thank you for this. This is amazing. This is something that I'm gonna be using myself. You can check it out in the link of the description of the video. And how does it compare to something from vanilla game? This is the biggest prefab panel building And you can see that it requires a little bit less gravel, a little bit less concrete. The Plattenbau requires less of that. Same amount of asphalt, much more prefab panels, and a bit more of steel. So 1 ton less gravel, 1 ton less concrete, but everything else is more. Asphalt is actually the same. Construction is a little bit more than this building. I think construction should be maybe a little bit higher, but I'm not really sure. But more or less, I think it's quite realistic, and I love this mod. It's second favorite in this mod. Monday, check out description of the video to Mr. Bremer's mod. Mr. Shootkey and Shootkey and sh-5833-14 plus parking. I have no idea what the hell this this is. I don't know how the parking plus parking works. Probably you have some non-collision parking that you can place. Unfortunately, I don't think I had. Let me just see if I can find any parking spaces, parking lots here. Here we go, and these are non-collision parking spaces that you can place over here, and you can overlap them. This is actually quite nice. I'm gonna let this be constructed. Let me see if I can click on it, and there we go. So this has parking for 6 vehicles. You can connect it with a road then, and you will have a small parking space, even though it's not going to be servicing this building in significant amounts. But for this game you don't need a lot of cars. This is only for emergencies, people working in power plants and whatnot. Anyway, this mod is quite nice. It's comparable to size to vanilla ones. Actually, it's even more luxurious if you compare the size of the buildings. There are 3 buildings in the pack. I know that this one is different because of the balconies it has, but these two I am really not sure what the difference is between them. I'm gonna go through the mod here. You can find it in the mod section in the residential area. Unfortunately for me, for some reason, buildings are not all the way in the back. There are some here from before, but these are the ones that we are talking about. So we have these 1, 2, and 3. One of them is with balconies. The other 2 are probably different capacity. Maybe the height is 192 and 168 respectively. We're gonna be comparing the bigger one just in case. Is it the height? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. They're same height. I would say that width looks like it's more or less the same. I have no idea why one has a little bit more people. I might be missing something, so sorry about that. But anyway, what's interesting about this building? It's hyper realistic. It's a BS. It's not hyper. It's realistic in a way that actually requires electrical components to be finished. Mechanical as well. Why is that? Elevators. Come on, like every building over 5 floors high, usually in Soviet Union, and I believe most of the world, a lot of the world, had elevators installed, and they don't require electrical components and mechanical components. I love this. It does have a little bit, maybe unrealistic amount of prefab panels and bricks, both of those things, and you have a lot of concrete. Mr. BC74SJ is going to be really happy about this. How does it compare to the buildings here? This is a prefab building here that we have Vavkavisk one. We're going to compare materials. Of course, it does require a little bit less steel. This is interesting. Let's compare one of these buildings. On the left hand side we're gonna have a mod, on the right hand side we have the vanilla one. So the mod one has 3 times longer construction time. It does have double the concrete, a little bit less gravel, enormous amounts of bricks, 40 tons of boards, and it's not on double, but 50% more prefab panels are required here. And then asphalt is again almost 3 times higher and does require electrical components, mechanical components, and a little bit less steel. This is an interesting part, but sure. I definitely will be making these buildings because I want to do a little bit more experimentation with the cars and stuff like that. So comparable to this building over here, we can just real quickly finish it and see how it compares in size and which exactly building are we talking about here. You can see this building is 178 people, and you can see that it's quite comparable to the one over here, and the bigger buildings are also not that more expensive than this one. So really, really, really nice mod. I love this one. Okay, so this is Mr. Billman. It's all written in Russian, no translation in English. I did run translation myself, but hey ho. I'm gonna try my Russian. I'm gonna butcher my Russian. So it's Pak жилых зданий серии Z-187, but trust me, this is butchering and it's really bad. I have a Google Translate running here. It's greetings. These are buildings built in Moscow, Minsk, Zelenograd. Zelenograd is northwestern part of like city of Moscow. It's an IT center, at least was in Soviet Union. Volgograd, Lipetsk, Tula, Yoshkar Ola, E1, sorry, it's E, not Z, E187 series includes towers of areas from 12 to 25 stories high. Right. You have the description in Russian, unfortunately. Sorry, between 22 and 25 floors high, located. 3 buildings are from Zelenograd. So, I'm gonna leave you to explore a little bit more your translational capabilities, but this is something I'm always interested in. Something realistic, something for a later game or better quality, and this is definitely something like that. Quality of apartments doesn't mean this. The quality of apartments is this, how they look like. I really, really like how they look like. They're unique, they're realistic, and definitely big thumbs up from me. Right, we have Zelenograd here. You can see E187 buildings compared to vanilla ones. On the left hand side we have the modded one. Oh dear lord, this is really expensive. 137,000 rubles compared to 14. A little bit more people living here. I don't know if it's realistic or not. We're gonna do a little bit of math, but let's finish with this first. So comparable, 500 tons of concrete, 137 tons of steel. I have 143 tons of steel. That's enormous amounts of steel and concrete, and 300, just under 300 tons of boards. So it's really, really expensive. Now, this one has 216 people living here. Let's say that it's 200 people, half of that would be 100. How many apartments per floor could be over here? I would say 4 if it's luxurious. So we need 25 floors, and we already read in the description that this one has between 22 and 25 floors. So I would say that this is quite realistic, or at least really, really close. This is really expensive, but definitely an eye candy. In my books, I will definitely be using these ones. Check out the description of the video if you want to learn more for the link to this mod. Okay, and this one came like a blessing from the sky, from above, just to give us something that I need in my Let's Play series that you can find on this channel as well. This is Grain Elevator Samara. Samara elevator, masterpiece of Soviet engineering. The first vertical elevator in the USSR was made by a unique method of sliding formwork. 32 patents were registered for this elevator, including mobile frame. Wow. Built in the shortest possible time, just 30 days, the building received the Golden Ear Medal of International Exhibition in Czechoslovakia, currently abandoned. Unfortunately, it's planned to be demolished. We hope that this will not happen. This is amazing. I didn't know any of this stuff. I read through this before this video, but this is absolutely something that I'm really, really interested in. As in personal life, family has some. I have family members who used to work in silos, grain silos, and sugar refinery, sugar silos, and I was actually spending most of my time. My little hometown had multiple of these for different purposes, and also in my Let's Plays right now, these are gonna be perfectly sized. For me, it's absolutely something that I need, and also they have both railroad connection, of course, road connection, so you can go crazy with these bad boys. You have industrial connections on each side as well. You can see it here. And how does it compare to vanilla building? Comparable to vanilla building is 3 to 4 times more expensive. Money-wise is 91,000. This one is, yes, 3 to 4 times more or less. It does require 369 tons of concrete. Am I seeing that right? Yes. Which is 3 times, just under 3 times more than this one over here. More bricks, double the bricks. Asphalt is like 5 times more. Boards as well, 3 times more. Steel, 3 times more, and so on and so on. So it's more or less 4 times more expensive than the vanilla one. Of course, it has significantly higher capacity, so heads up on that. This one has 4,000. It says here 5,000, even though it says here 4,000. So who knows? We can always try to check this out if we go and fill it in all the way and see how long it's gonna take to fill this in. But as you can see, it says 4,000. I have no idea why this is linked here. Of course, this one has 800 tons compared to this 5,000. It actually is quite significantly more. That would be 5 times more. I think it's quite realistic. Bigger you build is gonna be cheaper per ton that they can keep, and so on and so on. If you wanna complain, link on the description of the video to this mod. You can complain there, and let's move on. Right, Toprus' industrial narrow gauge pack. Now, narrow gauge pack is a narrow distance between the tracks. You can see that it definitely is narrow gauge track. You can see that it doesn't fit on these railroads, but this is something that industrial estates have in huge numbers. Even here where I live in Ireland now, they had a lot of those, you know, going from mines or industrial areas. They're being replaced by cycling greenways and stuff like that. But this is something Mr. Toprus made, this small pack of these railroad, well, let's call them, I don't know, engines or something. The problem with them is they only go 17 kilometers per hour. Their capacity is quite minuscule, 5 to 7 tons, I believe, which is comparable to small trucks, not even the bigger ones. But this is definitely gonna be looking nice in your industrial area if you connect it well with everything that you need. It's gonna refuel here because it's always missing some fuel, but this is the pack of 3 locomotives and 2 different wagons. I'm gonna show you the wagons and locomotives. They're quite small, you're gonna have a hard time seeing them. These are the other 2 that we have. They're even smaller than this one being the smallest one, but I'm not gonna demonstrate that because our tracks are full. Cargo wagons, if you go all the way to the back, you have here hopper cars. These are 5 tons of loose cargo and 6 tons of steel, all the way to 3.8 tons of uranium oxide. This would be perfect for some kind of industrial estate that you have that needs transporting, maybe nuclear fuel, hint hint. Right, what's the price? Same. It's really low. It's really low. If you scroll all the way to the back, they are cheaper than some trucks. So this would be really good replacement if you have this kind of industrial estate, industrial area that only needs short distance transports, because this would be perfect for you. And also, if you need it slow, you're in luck. This is really slow. Check out the link in the description of the video for more details. Okay, the second one is Soviet hopper wagons. This was supposed to be, I'm gonna present the other, Soviet hopper wagons. We're gonna present them first. That would be 3 different hoppers, and they are made by Mr. Zima, Soviet hopper wagons. They're being transported by electric train over here. As you can see, they are over there. There are 2 of them. Unfortunately, 2 of them are for loose cargo, for cement and aluminium, and only 1 is for loose cargo. I'm gonna show you them in here. So if you go to your cargo wagons, scroll all the way to the back where usually our trucks are, but they are second to last page for me. 6,500 hopper dry bulk cargo, and the bigger one over here. This big one is actually not that bad for exporting cement and aluminium oxide, because the vanilla ones are quite small, so this is a much better option. The vanilla ones are, I think, 12 tons of cement. We can always check in vanilla section over here if we can actually find them. Here we go, 30 tons actually. I wasn't even close. But this is much better, much bigger storage, and much better for exporting. And of course, we have a hopper car of 50 tons compared to 60 tons vanilla one, but the price is quite affordable, 13.6, and vanilla would be, actually, it's a little bit cheaper in 1960s. So it's much more expensive and quite realistic in my book. So if you want to check it out, this is something different. You can see them here when they are rolling down the railroad. You have more details in the description of the video. Let's move on. Mr. Fan Art, I guess. Obviously somebody had an issue with finding a proper name for this. This is a map called Grace Harbor, a map based on heightened map of Grace Harbor. I wanted to create mountainous region, but with flat space to expand and farm. Minerals deposits aren't realistic, but evenly distributed for interesting gameplay. I also attempted to get the roads as close to the real world equivalents too, and he actually did a really good job. Now this is Grace Harbor. This is one of my favorite parts of United States. This is state of Washington, all the way to in Pacific Northwest. Seattle would be somewhere northeast of here, or this is southwestern direction from Seattle. So this is quite realistic. How the local area looks like. I'm really impressed by this map. I love how it looks like. It does have a little bit more resources than I would expect, but it's beautiful map. Also gives you a lot of starting infrastructure for you to do, and check out the link to my video how to make these overpasses and underpasses a little bit better. I'm gonna link it now, so hopefully I didn't forget. So you're gonna have a link to my video where you can increase the height of this ground, and it's gonna look much nicer than just building the overpass, like increase, decrease, and that kind of stuff. Anyway, maybe it's nicer, maybe it's not. But anyway, it has railroad infrastructure. It has a lot of benefits to this maps and starting infrastructure. It has several border crossings, 2 for Soviet countries and 4 for American or US, or sorry, 5 for US. Unfortunately, there's a big downside to this that I found out while making this video. There's no electricity connection to outside world, so heads up, you're gonna have to do something. You're gonna have to start with power production, or at least a little bit more unrealistically higher income or finances. You can see here how much coal you have. You have decent supply of coal and iron, of course oil as well, a lot of it being under the sea. Uranium, it's again plentiful. This is more for you having fun if you desire to do so, without having a hard challenge on your back. But it's extremely beautiful. I love this map, and something from US that we can enjoy a little bit. I definitely will in my private time. I'm going to be playing definitely on this map. Okay, that's it. I'm gonna leave it here. If you like these videos, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, leave a nasty comment in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Notification bell, ring it, comment section, hit it. If you want to support the channel, you can always buy me a coffee. You can see it in the description of the video. And happy Monday. See you in the next one. Bye bye.